They say she built castles by day, but she hid a serpent's tail by night.
Are you ready to hear her story? Today, we're diving into the amazing legend of Melusine, the Serpent Queen. Okay, grab your imagination because we are traveling way, way back in time. Where are we going? To the land of knights and beautiful castles. We're going to France. This is where our story begins.
And for this adventure, we get a super special passport stamp. Look at this. It's a serpent wearing a crown. This little symbol is actually the key to a really old secret. A story people used to whisper about in giant stone castles.
So let's set the scene. Imagine a deep, enchanted forest. A brave knight named Raymond is walking along when all of a sudden, by a sparking magical spring, he sees the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Her name, Melusine.
And just like that, bam! It was totally love at first sight. He thought she was so kind and smart, and she could see that he had a really good heart. They just knew they were meant for each other, so of course, they decided to get married.
But wait, there was one catch, a big one. Melusine had a very, very important rule. She told Raymond, every single Saturday, you must promise me you will never, ever come into my room. No questions asked, and definitely no peeking.
Now that sounds a little weird, right? But Raymond was so in love, he didn't even think twice. He promised, he swore he would never, ever break that rule. And you know what? Their life together was pure magic. All of a sudden, amazing things started to happen. Boom! Giant castle walls just appeared. And whoosh! Huge towers shot up into the sky. People said she could build these incredible castles, like the super famous castle of Melusine, literally overnight. Can you imagine?
It was all happening magically. They became super famous and everyone loved them, all because of Melusine's secret powers. Life was like a perfect fairy tale. Well, for a little while anyway.
Okay, so now we get to the tricky part. As the years went by, Raymond started to get, a little suspicious. Other people would whisper things, and he started to wonder. That curiosity just started growing and growing inside him.
He kept thinking, what is she doing in there every Saturday? What's the big secret? Why can't I look? The question just got louder and louder in his head until he couldn't ignore it anymore.
And then it happened. One Saturday, he just couldn't take it anymore. He totally forgot his promise, he tiptoed over to that forbidden door, and he peeked through a tiny little crack.
And oh my gosh, what he saw was unbelievable. There was Melusine in her bath, but from her waist down, she had the long, shimmering, beautiful tail of a serpent. It wasn't scary at all, it was magical. See, she wasn't a monster, she was a kind of water fairy, a spirit connected to all the lakes and rivers.
So Raymond kept the secret for a while. But it changed things. And one day, they had a huge fight. And in anger, he yelled out her secret for everyone to hear. He called her a serpent. And just like that magical promise that held their whole life together, it shattered into a million pieces. The saddest sound you've ever heard filled the entire castle. And as she cried, her body began to change. Huge, magnificent wings burst from her back, and she transformed into a beautiful, powerful dragon right there in front of everyone.
She took one last sad look at Raymond and her children, and then she flew from the tallest tower up into the sky, and she never came back. People say that on stormy nights, you can still see her flying around the castle, a lonely guardian, watching over everything she lost.
It's a really sad ending, isn't it? But like all good fairy tales, this one has a super important lesson for all of us. Something that's just as important now as it was back then.
So what do we learn? First, that trust is super precious, and once it's broken, it's hard to fix. Second, that promises are powerful things, kind of like magic spells. And finally, that being curious is great, but you have to be kind and respectful too, or you might break something wonderful.
Okay, check out this super cool real-life fact. This story was so popular and felt so real that for hundreds of years, actual kings and queens and other important families in Europe would say, hey, we're related to Melusine. They wanted everyone to know that their power came from magic, not just from boring old armies and money.
So, I have a question for you. Think about it. If you had a really big, magical secret,
Would you want your best friend to A, protect it no matter what, or B, reveal it? What would you do?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It's like the story says, some secrets are there to protect the magic, and some are the kind that break it.
Wow, what a story. I hope you had fun on our trip to France today. Remember to always keep wondering and keep looking for magic. I can't wait to see you on our next adventure.